what were your initial impressions of Brian? Did you guys get along? How did you like
Yeah,
team?
Brian was good. I mean, I, I will admit I was a little disappointed. I didn't want to be a tag team again. I'd been tag team, for 10 years with Greg, and then 15 months with Mike George. And I thought, well, hey, if that's where I'm going to make my money, I guess that's what I've got to do. So, the bees were good. I mean, they had promised us the belts a couple times, never did give them to us. We had some great matches with the Hearts. We had great matches with, I'll tell you who we had great matches with. The British Bulldogs. We had an incredible match with them. And then also, oh gosh, what's his name? They were called, oh God, it was, he's from Quebec too.
The Rougeos?
No, we had good matches with the Rougeau. No, he turned out to be the model.
Martel and Zink?
Yes, Rick Martel and what's
Tito?
No,
Tom Zink?
the kid from Minnesota.
Tom Zink.
Yes.
Yeah.
We had great matches with them. So, and we had a lot of good, babyface matches, but at the same time, we had some good matches with heels. I mean, although the Hearts were a little hard to work with because of Jim Anvil, or the Neidhart. He was in his own little world. He was pretty hard to maneuver. I remember he was definitely afraid of me hitting him in the mouth with the drop kick. And I told him, I said, Jim, come off the ropes and just put your hand up like that. I'll hit you right there. So he was so scared. We're in a match, and all of a sudden he comes off the ropes, and I jump up extra highs to give him a little loot so I can hit him good. And he turns his head so that my feet go by his head, miss him. And when we come down, the heel of my boot hits him right here, and opens him up a little bit, And he got up and he filled the ring with just fists left and right. And he hit me so hard in my right side, I thought he damaged my liver. So I'm screaming to Brett. I said, Brett, you better get in here. So, but he was just, he was like a baby bull.
What are the teams
too? He died early, really early. Jesus.
Yeah. What other teams did you guys like working with? You worked with Demolition?
Yeah, we had good matches with the Demolition. You know what the problem was, Mike, there? The heels didn't want to ever give too much to the baby face because they didn't want to lose face with the crowd. They didn't want to show a sign of weakness. And you can't have a match if you don't sell. And consequently we had that, but we had some really good matches with the Hearts, exceptional matches. And we had a couple good matches with Bob Orton and Don Morocco, which was amazing.
Yeah.
But it went pretty well. It's just the fact that when we didn't get the belts, and we had, a couple great matches with the Hearts in Buffalo, New York. It was on TV, and we switched and put the mask on and dove over and won and then, nothing happened, and the people looked around like, what's going on? And then there was no explanation afterwards.
Now, why do you think they didn't give you the tag belts? Was there ever a reason, or they just?
Well, Vince didn't like us, period.
Okay.
He didn't like us. And Brian still differs in opinion on that, but I know he never did. He never did like us. And the fact that we were both, friends of Terry Hulk, I think he sort of took care of us a little bit, but never, we never were, given the belts, and we would have had a hell of a run because we could have turned heel with those masks and presented a different, a totally different scenario going into matches. But you can't fight City Hall, and I know Brian was just really disappointed, as I was too, because if you get a chance to wrestle for the championship, a couple, 2-3 times, and you don't get it, then the fans lose faith in you. And then
One of
you lose drawing power. You don't draw.
One of my questions was next going to be the masks. When my dad and I used to watch wrestling, my dad's favorite thing was when you put the masks on, and Jesse Ventura would say, "That's the illegal killer bee." You know, he makes a big deal out of it. Who thought of the masks? Whose idea was it? And you brought up a good point. It is a heel thing to do rather than a babyface thing.
Yeah.
That's why it worked.
It did. We were in Canada, and Billy Red Lyons had mentioned, you know, being the killer bees. And then he thought it'd be great if we wore a mask. And I thought, God, what a great idea, because none of the baby faces wore masks. And at that time, there was no heels in the territory that wore a mask. The only people that wore the mask were the luchadors from Mexico, you know, and every one of them wear a mask. So it was quite unique. And occasionally, on Halloween, I'll put my jacket on and my mask, and I'll scare the kids as I open up the door for the trick or treats. And then I have a good friend, his name's Scott Mueller. He's a mortician, our local mortician. And I have a running joke with him. I said, hey, I said, when I get cremated, I said, well, would these artificial parts be worth any money? And he said, no. But I told him, he says, what do you do with your masks now? You know, where do you keep them? And I said, oh, I use them every week for a bank withdrawal. He laughed. So
I used to love when you do a 6-man with like JYD or Coco Beware.
Oh God, yes.
They'd wear the mask like he couldn't tell which one was the killer bee. I love that.
Well, we had that. This killed us. This was in Lake Placid. This was in 88 or 89. And it was an 8-man tag. And it was Brian and I, Coco Beware, and George the Animal Steel. And at the end of the match, all of us had the masks on, and George the Animal Steel had it on crosswise, and he was trying to eat the turnbuckle. And then Coco Beware was dancing the bird. And I looked at Brian and I said, well, we might as well forget about this killer bee gimmick because I think it's dead right now, you know?
Where can they get the book?
Oh, Blurb online. BURB, and it's got like 47 stories on it. In it, every word was written by me, my wife, and it took us 5 years to put it together through my high school and college and all the wrestling. And, you know, it's fun to do. And I sold a number of books, and, you know, the fact that I didn't have a ghostwriter. So I know every time I do one of these, I always sell 10 books at Blurb. So thank you, audience.
So it's B-U-R-B?
No, B-L-U-R-B. Blurb.
Blurb. I will be buying one before I go to sleep tonight.